Welcome to the Sharperlight SAP Business One training video. Follow this video as we do an install and setup for SAP Business One on Sharperlight. In this video we will go through where to find Sharperlight online resources, installing the data model, client setup to point to the database, and testing the connection through Query Builder. On the Sharperlight.com website, Sharperlight publicly stores all resources for any user to access at any time. This includes the latest client versions, data models, e-learning, and all manuals and guides. Navigate to the Data Models page under the Resources tab, and then select the SAP Business One folder. This folder contains all relevant files and documents for SAP. Go ahead and download the SAP data model by clicking the green Download button. Open up the Sharperlight application menu, and here we can open up the Data Model installer. This is where you install new or update pre-existing data models. Click the Add button on the interface, and now locate and select the SAP Business One data model file you just downloaded prior. You should see the SAP Business One data model has been added, with the version number and release date visible in the columns here. You can then click on the Finish button to complete the installation of the data model. Next, we want to set up a connection to the SAP database. Through the application menu, open the Client Setup. This is where you manage all connections to data models and remote Sharperlight services. Find SAP Business One and select the connection type you wish to use. Sharperlight supports Microsoft SQL Server and SAP HANA database connections. For this example, we will choose Database Server Authentication for Microsoft SQL Server. On the right of the window, we have our connection detail settings. Change your settings appropriately. In this example, the database is hosted in the Microsoft SQL Server locally, so the server name can be left as localhost. Change initial catalog to be the database name you want it to point to. So for this example, change the initial catalog to SBO Common. This is the control database that has the pointers to all the company databases. If your environment is multi-tenancy, we recommend that you still set your initial catalog to SBO Common, and it is important to use a user account created with permissions scoped for that tenant. Otherwise, input valid user credentials here. We can then test our connection, and if successful, close with the OK button to save our changes. Lastly, to be sure that everything is set up, we can run a test query. Through the application menu, open up Query Builder. From here, we can define a quick query. We can then preview the query, and if it runs successfully, we know our setup is complete. This now concludes the Sharperlight SAP Business One implementation.